Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John Sisbetty, a true dad. Welcome to Railroad Corporation, a game all about laying out tracks and running trains and all of those things I absolutely love. So naturally, I'm on board for this one. But this one's a little bit on the different side, because normally when I play a railway game, for me, it's all about having a lovely chill experience. You know what, let's just hook up this farm to this town and then ride along the train and make the whistle go toot toot. And it's just a lovely time. I just have a lovely relaxing time with them. Railroad Corporation, however, doesn't actually have a nice relaxing sandbox mode yet, because this game's still in early access, not feature complete, still work in progress, diddly diddly dee. So all it's got right now is its campaign. And its campaign is bloody brutal. It's lunacy on toast. I failed the very first mission in the game 3 times in a row. This game is not kidding around. Anyway, let's dive in. I'll introduce you to it. So, welcome to America in 1835, and if you've played this sort of game before, this will probably look pretty familiar to you immediately. There's a bunch of towns dotted around the map. Towns produce things that are in green and consume things that are in red. Your job is to use railways to hook these places together in a sensible fashion, but you're not doing it out of the goodness of your heart, of course. You're doing it to make cold, hard cash. And as you can see up in the top left there, I've got some objectives and a time limit to fulfill them. I've got a single year to buy a textile factory and get it operational. So, there's a nice textile factory down here. You're probably thinking, well, that's nice and simple. How exactly do you buy that then? Well, I start off with $100,000 and there's a cotton field right over here. So you're probably thinking, John, you must be truly terrible at video games if you say this game is hard. Yeah, fun thing about this game, you're not allowed to just start wherever you want. You have to start from where your headquarters is and build outwards. So the only place I'm allowed to build rails from is up here in the top right, Knoxville. So I need to basically work my way down towards Atlanta. And laying track is a bit on the expensive side. So yeah, just a basic track, say from here down towards here. That would cost $55,000. So basically, don't do that. Bad idea. That's definitely a terrible idea. I'm going to burn through my money very, very quickly indeed. So you've got to slowly build out and build up an infrastructure of profitable exchanges on your way down towards the factory. But in a year's time, I've got to make sure I've actually got about $46,000 spare to buy that factory. Because if that time runs out, that is it, game over. So instead, we've got Cookville over here. This is probably a decent starting point. So this place has got wheat and produces a whole lot of it. Right now, yeah, there's 4, and it's going to start growing a lot more as time goes by. So, if I set a train over there, my train can pick up wheat for $800. Then I just find somewhere that actually is buying wheat. Here we go, it's in demand over in Knoxville, where I can sell it for $2,860. Naturally, of course, running the train itself comes with a couple of costs, but it's a good enough starting point. So, get the railway constructed, and now start building this, and yeah, try and build it in a place where we don't actually have to do anything in the way of bridges, tunnels, and a small amount of soil excavation as I can get away with too. So you want to try and stick to, yeah, like flat ground if you can. So going in a pretty straight line would cost me, yeah, $22,000 just because we're cutting through some forest. That's generally not a good idea. Also, you need to avoid corners that are too steep because trains have to slow down to go through them. So, no, not like that. Not like that. Not like that either, game. You know what? That'll do. 18 grand. The train never goes below 120. That's its max speed. So get that down. Confirm that. And we have got ourselves a nice little bit of track right there. So next up, we're going to be needing ourselves a train. So, let's just go for a nice cheap train for the time being, because I've got basically no cash flow. So, probably not a good idea to splash out on the best trains going. So that train now needs to have a route assigned to it. And also, be told what it's going to do. So I want it to go over to Cookville, and I want it to load up a big old pile of wheat, as much as it can carry. As you can see there, wheat weighs a certain amount, and I can only carry so much on my train. So I think, yeah, I can't actually carry 4 wheats, only 3. So there we go. We go over there, we pick up the wheat. Add another station. Come back round to Knoxville at that point. And I want you over there to unload the wheat too. So unload all of that, and there we go. The train is now empty, and it just goes round in a bit of a loop. So, here we go, my little train just sets off and is now on its way to pick up this grain. Lovely. I, however, need to focus on my next move. I can't just, you know, enjoy watching the train go along its way and go toot toot, because time is ticking by and money needs to be flipping made. Because just down the road here, yeah, we've got Chattanooga. And Chattanooga, I can't help but notice, has a farm, which is very, very interesting indeed, because farms will pay slightly more for grain than an actual city will, because yeah, they desperately need it in order to produce meat together with leather. Now, does anyone want to buy that? Because if they were to, here we go. My clothes factory, which is ultimately my objective, get enough textiles and leather to produce clothes and then take those clothes down to Atlanta. That place actually needs leather. And the route down to Chattanooga is nice and smooth, so you know what? I'm getting that in right now, because we want to be expanding down towards the south anyway, so Chattanooga is going to be an excellent little spot for me to actually start off working in. In fact, you know what? Screw my hometown, I don't care about that. Change the plan of the first train at this point. Your job is actually not to go back to Knoxville. Your job is to take the goods over to Chattanooga. So, the train reaches Cookeville, has to take a moment just to actually fuel up, because yeah, at any station, the train needs to refuel. Then it needs to actually pay for the goods at $800 a go for 3 carts full of grain, and now it will just take it down the road to sell it to the Chattanooga farm. Of course, now, the train is moving a lot more slowly because it's carrying a lot more weight. So, while it's just getting on with that, we need to get another train in circulation. And you're probably thinking, hang on, John, you can't have a second train in circulation. You've only got, like, a single straight line. They're going to get in each other's way. No, they're not. Disappointing thing about this game in some ways is there's not really much in the way of railway logistics going on. Trains can just basically phase through each other. Signals just sort of handle themselves, because the game's much more about the business and supply and demand side of things than the actual train logistics for the most part, which is probably a good call, because if you had to properly add in sidings and signals, this game is complicated enough already, alright? It would probably get a bit too much. Let's actually splash a bit more money on a John Bull, a better quality train that can carry more weight to it. And this train is not going to be doing freight, because there's 2 types of thing in this game. There's freight, where you have to buy it in one place and sell it in another, and then there's passengers and mail. They work differently. They just pay you more the further they've been carried. So Knoxville over here to Chattanooga is a fairly long distance, so that should basically just be a nice, easy way of getting money coming in without having to hand more of it out. And the nice thing about passengers is, there's passengers in both stations wanting to go to the other. So Knoxville both has a supply of passengers and demand for them as well. So actually, we can both load and unload passengers. You're always shipping something. So right now, I believe the train always has to start at your capital. So yeah, it's just going to start going on its way momentarily. Get time ticking along there. And here we go. The grain is now making its way down in this direction. Now, as the train just kind of bumbles along, over time, it actually loses condition. So it does actually need to be repaired up. Chattanooga's probably going to be like the capital of my entire empire for the time being. So I'm actually going to upgrade that station for $3,000 in order to actually put a nice little repair shop right here. And I'm going to tell trains, when you arrive in Chattanooga, at that point, please repair yourself up to maximum. So you're always going to be running at full efficiency. Here we go, we've just arrived and sell the grain, 3,000 apiece. So there we go, we've started actually making some good money here. And that grain is now being converted into some lovely meat and some lovely leather. So this train, as soon as it's actually done with some repairs and then I think refueling, it'll be back over towards the farm. Except, of course, that's woefully inefficient. You see, right now, this train doesn't have anything on it, and we can't be having that. It's an outrage of capitalism, damn it. We need to come up with a more sensible thing for this train to be doing. Because as we've just stated, this here farm is going to be producing both meat and leather. And I can actually sell the leather back over here at Knoxville. So what I actually want this train to do, while it's at Chattanooga, is actually buy leather. Buy the leather from the previous trip and unload the leather right there. And you can sell that for a giant pile of money. At that point, they can return to Cookeville. Still not 100% efficient, because there's going to be one leg of the journey where there's nothing in the train. But we might be able to make it a bit more efficient later on. And one more thing we need to invest in immediately too. My office needs to be upgraded for a very healthy 10 grand because I'm going to be needing a research and development lab in order that I can start improving my trains. So yeah, in the first mission I basically upgraded the starting train, but we need to start upgrading the later trains too. Now at this point I'm almost out of money, which is a bit of a concern because running out of money doesn't actually matter. You do have an overdraft, but this game takes a very realistic view of overdrafts, which is you should never ever use your overdraft under any circumstances. If you go into debt, it will murder you. You will die. You will drown in debt. So I'm going to actually, yes, sell all of the grain to the farm. And as soon as we're actually done repairing, I'll start actually loading up. Hang on, back over to train number 1 here. I will buy and load up the leather, which we should be able to do, hopefully, because, yeah, we should just be able to afford that. So, leather now being shipped back over to Knoxville. And here we go with the logistics, because, yeah, train 1 is now on its way towards the farm. And train 2 is also on its way towards the farm. So, the way they're going to get around this is a little bit on the interesting side. So my passenger train arrives at the farm, and then it just sort of slips inside the farm using magic, despite the fact it blatantly shouldn't fit, and now decides it's gonna hide in there for a minute. And in comes train 1. Bear in mind, of course, there is only one platform, so I'm not really sure how this is gonna work, but train 1 is now also going to go inside the farm station. Again, it doesn't look like it should fit. Maybe it should just fit, but not really. Then it's just gonna slither inside. And now, they're both just going to go out. They just somehow figured it out. Alright? When a train loves a train very much, they go inside a station, and then diddly diddly dee. And I'm now into debt. And I should really be avoiding that because debt will destroy you in this game. But we're on to a good thing here. So, my passengers have arrived at Chattanooga, aboard the presumably Chattanooga Choo-Choo. And because they travelled a fair distance, every single one of those carriages is worth $3,500. So that's very, very good indeed. Meanwhile, train 1 arrives over here, and each of those leathers, $9,000. So, I'm now back in the money, but yeah, you may notice, it's now actually January. So, I've already lost a handful of months. We're getting down to 260 odd days until I have to have purchased the textile factory. And as soon as I purchase the textile factory, the game's going to put me on a new timer to start, you know, using the factory, producing clothes, getting the textiles and leather back over here to Knoxville, diddly diddly dee. So, what is the next logical move here? So, I see we've actually got, yeah, Sawmill, Calhoun over here, and we've got Cleveland up here that produces a small amount of wood. So in theory, I could actually, yeah, ship this wood down over to here, buying it for $1,000, selling it for $3,850. That would then produce lumber, which I could again buy for $4,400 and then sell to, pretty sure, yeah, Atlanta wants that, for $8,580, which is not a great ratio to be honest. Just doubling your money is not great. Now, there is an alternative, which is Nashville is up here. Nashville does have a textile factory too, but ultimately, the game says that the clothes have to be delivered to Atlanta. So if you decide to go for Nashville, yeah, you've got to build all the railway over here, and then, once you're done with that, you have to build even more railway down here, which I'm not sure is a good idea unless there's something particularly compelling about Nashville. Actually, there is one thing that's pretty compelling about Nashville. Nashville has got a post office. Post offices are great because mail is worth $500 for every 100 miles it travels versus $300 for passengers. So it's worth nearly twice as much as passengers. That would be really valuable. That mail train would be worth a huge amount of money. But I've got nowhere for the mail to actually go right now. That's the problem. I've got nowhere to deliver it to. I could run a passenger train between Nashville and Knoxville, but that would be a fairly large amount of expenditure. But if I do that, I'll have the railway in place, that when I do get down to Atlanta, I can start running mail trains, and those mail trains will be worth ludicrous money. And this is where this game starts getting really interesting, because there's so many things I could do right now. There's no obvious answer. I could build a nice little network of, logs into planks over here. I could start trying to service Nashville, because Nashville actually does need meat. I'm increasingly tempted by Nashville, because Nashville wants the meat. How much is Nashville willing to pay for that? Nashville is willing to double my money, not great. But otherwise, this meat that's just sitting here, it's got nowhere to go right now. I tell you what, a spur over to Nashville doesn't even cost that much. 23,000 is actually pretty cheap, all things considered, and there's a bit of soil excavation that needs to be done, but honestly, I suspect that's going to pay for itself. So I'm going to get that in play right now. And I'm also going to just create a nice little split right over here, just for a further $1,000. There we go. So we've now got a nice triangle junction right there. Now, before we actually buy any trains, there is a new train I can unlock here. So, the DeWitt Clinton. So, how does this compare to the John Bull? In terms of, yeah, upkeep it is... actually, it's cheaper. That's interesting. This thing is cheaper, but it can't actually pull as much mass. However, it can go a lot faster. Right. I tell you what, I think the best bet for now is actually not go to that train. Instead, increase the amount that the John Bull can pull. So spend a bit of money on that, get all my scientists on it so it actually happens super quickly. So yeah, in 3 months, the John Bull, right now pulling 65, can pull another 12 on top of that. Not bad at all. But what I'm going to do as a starting point is buy a basic best friend. And I know this pushes me into a deficit, and I know I just said don't do that under any circumstances, you'll die, but it's fine. I know what I'm doing, it's under control. This thing, its only job is right now to go to Chattanooga, and it's going to load up a big old pile of meat, okay? That's all it's going to do. And it takes that over to Nashville, otherwise the meat just isn't doing anything. So unload the meat, please. That's going to be worth a decent amount of money. And honestly, Nashville has just so many passengers, I may as well just pick up a few passengers on the return trip, just for the sake of not wasting capacity. And the reason you don't want to go into debt is, the moment you're in debt, you start incurring daily interest. And obviously, as the interest gets taken out and you're not making money, the interest just goes up and up and up, and you end up in a horrendous debt spiral. And this is kind of what finished me off in my first couple of playthroughs. Generally, it's not a good time. And if you hit minus 50,000, that's it, game over. And daily payment is now down to 50 already, so that's getting worse. That's getting worse right now, because just repairing my trains is costing money. So that's up to 51, that's being deducted every single day. So yeah, that's just going to keep going more and more and more. So ideally, people, we need to actually get some trains running, like as soon as possible, please. Yeah, I'm now paying $200 a day. We've managed to make back some of that. Don't go into debt. Okay, this is my salvation. Train 2 just made it over here. 5 carriages of 3,500 each. Right, that's not quite cleared the debt, but I do have more valuable stuff on the move right now. Train 3, delivering meat to Nashville, then they'll bring some customers back. Train 1 has been repaired up, that's now on the way. So, how long until I actually have to buy the factory? Right, in 200 odd days I need to buy the factory, and I need 45,000 in cash to do that. So, basically, yeah, this game is stressful. This game is very stressful. And here's another fun layer, by the way. There's nothing to stop you buying every single building on the map. If you just want to straight up buy the farm, you can do. Then, of course, you can just take the meat for free without paying for it. But presumably, at that point, no one's paying you for the grain because it's your grain to your farm. So that would probably work out, but I don't really have the capital for it right now. Also, okay, we're having some small track problems there, but luckily the train seems to be fine with it. But you can just see how the debt becomes a problem. No matter what I do, there we go. We sold a giant pile of meat. Train 3 is worth it. We're out of debt. Don't go back into debt. Just don't. Oh, and here comes Train 2. Here comes Train 2, delivering people on the Chattanooga Choo Choo. Pardon me, boy, that's going to be $3,500 for a ticket, actually. Job done. And now we get repaired back up to full strength. And now we've got money. Good. Good. I knew what I was doing. It was always fine. Probably. Right, and now I've got a big old pile of money. I know exactly what that needs to be spent on. And that is a massive train to take this giant pile of people all the way over here to Knoxville. Also, I'm just going to test how clever the actual game is here, which is I'm going to create a little kind of siding around the outside of the station right here. because it seems like it's going to be, yeah, pretty cheap to do. It's going to cost me maybe a couple of $1,000s. But if I just actually do this, hang on, just put that over there. Yeah, like, you know what? I'm going to put that there, so there's now a bypass around the farm, and I'm going to see whether that makes the trains run more efficiently. Anyway, let's buy a lovely John Bull. And this city can only hold 5 people, so I've got to make sure when I ship them over here to Knoxville, though we need to unload literally everyone, I only want them to try and pick up 5. Otherwise, the train's just going to be stuck waiting for a new one to generate in. So in which case, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, with that in play, probably the railway I'm running down to Chattanooga, I'm not really 100% sure I need that anymore. Because there's just not enough people over here in Knoxville to justify it. And the meat train is already running people between Nashville and Chattanooga. So that train, train 2, is probably ready to be retired, or to be precise, reassigned to a different duty. And another problem, this train doesn't go through Chattanooga at all. So as a result of that, it doesn't have anywhere to perform repairs. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set up a repair shed over here in Chattanooga. Not everyone's going to use that. For the most part, it's just going to be used by the new Train 4. I'm thinking about the one thing I said I shouldn't do, aside from debt, which I also said you shouldn't do and then did, which is buying the textile factory in Nashville. Because I've got a nice train line already set up to potentially take that lovely textile right over here back to Knoxville. And then, from Chattanooga, we can just build a brief spur. You know what? That's going to be fine. Not least as, Fort Payne down over here, we've got some cotton fields, so we can bring that straight up here to Nashville. So that's going to be nice and... America in 1836. Oh, I feel really bad now. I'm so sorry about this, but I'm going to be buying the cotton anyway. I mean, this is 100% the most sensible move at this point, which is, how much is that going to cost? Ouch, a lot of money. Right, save up a bit of money first. There's no need to put down track that doesn't do anything because, no, I do have a train already. Okay, I'm willing to go a tiny bit into debt. Okay, I'm going to do the 2 things you shouldn't do simultaneously, because of course I am. So, Train 2's job is now going to change, because Train 4 is now going to be our passenger train. It's going to make a lot more money for us. So Train 2, just scrap what that's doing, and instead, come up with a new job for that. In Fort Payne, I would like you to, yeah, buy up a big old pile of cotton. And cotton is very light. So you can carry actually a whole load of that. Then I need you to go to Nashville in order to actually sell it to the factory, which I don't currently own, but I might own at some point in future. Now, Nashville is absolutely swimming in people. So what I may as well do is actually pick up even more people while I'm just actually passing by, and then once we're actually back in Chattanooga, I can drop them off because I'm passing by anyway, so I may as well do that. While you're in Chattanooga, take the opportunity to actually get yourself repaired up. Chattanooga at that point doesn't actually produce anything you need, so yeah, at that point, go back to Fort Payne, pick up the cotton, repeat. There we go. That's going to be a good service for us. I've only got 57 days to purchase the factory. That's fine. I may need to go massively into debt to purchase the factory, but that's okay. That's definitely not a problem. And let's just actually see here. Train 4, are you actually going to use the little siding? Yes. Okay, so my passenger trains are using the sidings, so that's good. And a month to go. I need as much money as possible, please. Everybody, very quickly, just like, you know, get some stuff in. Because when that hits 0, that's it. That's game over. But I could use my entire overdraft to buy the factory, if need be. I'd rather not, but I could. In fact, now I'm just curious. This is going to be crazy money coming in off Train 4. Because these guys have travelled such a long way. The tickets are going to be insane. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff. That's the stuff right there. It's not quite enough for a factory, but it'll flippin' do the job. Right, you want me to purchase a textile factory? Well, that's what I'm going to do. Hooray for debt! Right, so we're back down to 16,000, and now I'm on a new timer. So at this point, I need to start delivering clothing, and 10 clothes need to be delivered to... oh, Atlanta. Yeah, right, okay, I see the problem here. So... what we need to do at this point is produce textiles in Nashville. produce leather down over here in Chattanooga. I bet this place is. No, this place isn't full up of leather just yet. Good, I was worried about that. We might have had a surplus of leather. Those two things need to be delivered over here. That produces clothes. The clothes then get shipped down to Atlanta. And at that point, I think we're okay. The problem is, you don't get paid for the contract. Because it's kind of assumed that the people who you're delivering the clothes to for the contract, they put up the initial 100,000. So, you need a profitable network to fund this bit at the end. Okay, here comes some leather. Leather is worth a lot of money. That might be enough to deal with the debt right there. There we go. We've cleared the debt. Okay, now time to improve the efficiency of the network by just, slapping down a little siding here so trains aren't stuck just waiting for each other all the flipping time. And I just need to wait for the train to be off this bit of track to actually get that down. Spend 5 grand on that as soon as I can, please. There we go. So we've now got a nice little siding that these trains can start using. Beautiful. So, everything should now flow a lot more smoothly in this part of the world. But yeah, I've now got about 3 odd years to actually get some clothes down to Atlanta. And also, what is it that you want right now? So, Nashville's mayor wants to develop the tourism business, and he's offering a grant for tourists. So when you say you want tourists, you literally just mean any person, because I am shipping so many people to Nashville right now. I am going to make a lot of money doing that if so. Also, the game kind of wants me to put down an HR department, so I'm going to do that now before I forget. So, I'm not sure what the HR department actually does. Yeah, it's just me. I'm just running this place by myself. Okay, for the time being, just let the network operate. It's making decent money right now. Trains are just being repaired, refueled. Everything's getting through. And, yes, the post office. The post office is the source of all money if I could just get the network hooked together. But until I get down to Atlanta, no dice. And the research for upgrading my trains is finished. So, I can actually start picking up yet more cotton. Beautiful. So make sure we drop that off, and if we can, pick up an extra passenger and drop them off too. So basically more things being transported per trip, more money. Perfect. Time is ticking by. We're down to 870 days and I've not made much more progress down towards Atlanta just yet. Mainly is, first up, I need to actually get the actual clothing trade underway. We've got 10 bajillion leather right there. How are we doing on textiles? Here we go. So, textiles. Problem is, well, the game says they're expensive, but then I own this factory, so don't I get to pick those up for free? Wasn't that the entire point of, buying them? And is it time to invest in a new train? Because I suspect it is, yes. Yeah, we've got all the trains doing productive stuff right now. Best thing we can do, get a new train down, buy a John Bull. The John Bulls seem to be doing a good job. In which case, this train does nothing but go over to Nashville and then actually pick up the textiles. But then again, how much in the way of textiles is there going to be at any given time? Because textiles presumably aren't actually that heavy, right? And is it more efficient just to wait for more textiles to arrive before you set off, or just get the textiles we've already got underway? Let's just get it underway for now. I'll keep an eye on supply and demand there. And then, of course, you want to move directly back to Knoxville in order to drop those off. That's absolutely fine. But once you're in Knoxville, you could just pick up more people. Then again, no, you can't, because Knoxville doesn't have enough people to justify that. But you could pick up... Hang on. By any chance, does this place want... No, this place doesn't want grain. That's a shame. If it did, I could have just picked up some extra grain to actually handle that on the way past. Actually, this train shouldn't go directly because, textiles are slow to produce. Probably the best way is actually to grab the textiles, deliver them, then grab some grain, just deliver that to Chattanooga because you kind of may as well, get yourself healed up, and then at that point carry over passengers. There's plenty of passengers, that's worth a bit of money. This is going to slow everything down a bit, but it should be fine. So just pick up a giant pile of grain, and you can carry loads of that, beautiful. Then take that over to Chattanooga. So this is going to be a complicated route right here. Then you can unload the grain right there. Now, the farm seems to be constantly needing grain, so you kind of may as well just deliver it all to the farm, to be honest. And then, while you're here, grab yourself a big old pile of... Ooh, hang on, there's a post office here. Oh, Oh, I'm very glad I noticed that. This place has picked up a post office. Do you have a post office? No, for some reason you don't have a post office. Boo. Right, pick up, like, all of the post. Like, as much post as you can carry. At that point, take the post over to Nashville. And yeah, while you're actually back at Knoxville, heal up at Knoxville, actually, because Chattanooga's more in demand in terms of its repair time. Beautiful. Okay, Train 5 is getting stuck behind Train 4 over here, which makes me think that maybe there needs to be... Oh, hang on, we're looking at a bit of a jam around here. Okay, in theory, could I actually create a bypass along here? Oh, that's going to be very expensive. It's very expensive, but it might be for the better. Oh, bloody hell. Right, Train 4 is going incredibly slowly. I see the problem here. Train 4 is maybe a little bit on the, overloaded side. For an old John Bull, that's a bit too much for him to pull. Okay, research, could we maybe help out with that? I think we need a bit more speed on the old John Bull, please. Okay, yeah, this is a bit of a problem at this point. As we've actually got, yeah, high-speed passenger trains and textiles and all the rest of it, I'm just going to actually provide an overtaking spot over here. Just to potentially provide, yeah, a new alternative route for trains to just actually, yeah, skip by slower trains. So now there's an alternative route. So it's kind of like a slightly extended double triangle junction, which hopefully the game will be able to figure out. Still, having upgraded the John Bull a bit, at least it's actually speeding up slightly. And, oh, I've accidentally gone into debt. Okay, so it happened again. You guys just deliver the meat, it'll be a-okay. Okay, opportunity but also problem. So, the furniture factory in Birmingham, or sorry, we're in America, Birmingham, it's decided that it wants some textiles, and it's willing to pay big money for them. Okay, I guess we'll accept that one. That one is, I really hope that's, uh-oh. Is that optional? I don't know if that's optional or not. I really hope it is. Right, we're going down to Birmingham, and we need to deliver, yeah, people potentially. There is actually, yeah, demand for people. That'd actually be a nice run, actually. If I just ran an express train all the way from Knoxville, right down over here, that'd be pretty cool. Right, okay, how much is this going to cost? Because I'm guessing it's not so bad. And that is... Actually, you know what? This is cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So, fair enough. We'll run this line down to Birmingham, and it will be just fine. And, okay, the textiles are being produced faster than I thought they were going to be. So that's actually, yeah, that's not a bad thing at all. In which case, what do I want to do now? I'm going to wait until that fast train comes in, because once the fast train's in, yeah, it can actually just start doing these runs super quickly. And actually, having a think about it, if I want a direct line between Birmingham and Knoxville, and also I need a line that spurs down to Atlanta, I could just build a brand new... Oh, hello. This is a stupid idea, but I kind of like it anyway. We could have a little breakaway line, then we just, yeah, make this run over here. That's up to 34,000. And then there's, yeah, there just needs to be a little bit of a bridge. Just a small bridge. Bridges are expensive, mind. Then we just need to, yeah, merge it in over here. That is 51,000. You know what? I've decided we're going to do that. There we go. That's a better bridge. Right, so I've just spent all of the money. All of it, pretty much. But this is going to be beautiful and sexy. Alright, this line here is going to just generate such crazy large amounts of money just by basically shipping... Oh, there's a post office. There's a flipping post office. We can ship post and people backwards. Oh, we can't ship post. Okay, we can ship not that many people. That's the problem. Actually, this line is entirely pointless. Okay, fine, but it looks nice. Okay, got some money. How much does that new train cost? That new train costs... Actually... only 18,000, but it can't actually pull that much. Its advantage is it's super speedy. But the nice thing is, textiles aren't actually that heavy. So, by that, your first job is go to Nashville, basically just get as much of that as... Oh, that's not much, is it? That's... Oh, yeah, that's That's too much for you. Okay, that's fine. We need this thing to be able to carry just a little bit more, by the way. Okay, you just pick up 2, because then you can travel at 43 miles an hour. Alright, then you go down to Birmingham, and then you just unload them there, and you do it super fast. So just get on with that as fast as possible, please. Then, when you're in Birmingham, you actually can just pick up some people. Because that's going to be worth a lot of money right there. Just 3 of them, still traveling at 35 miles an hour. And then you just bring them back over to Nashville, drop them off, because Nashville wants tourists. And possibly that's also going to make me fail the mission. Oh, I really should have said no to this. Still, I think my bypass is working pretty well right now, because yeah, train 4 is just going along here, train 1 can go along here, train 6 is just trying to make its way somewhere, but are you going to be clever enough to? No, because, oh, okay, we got a bit of gridlock going on here, I'm sure it's fine. We're not delivering tourists anywhere near fast enough, and everyone is just piling into Nashville. The line into Nashville is just completely clogged. In fact, yeah, right now, I think every single train is just sitting in Nashville. Right, all of you need to go, actually. Everybody naff off. We need, like, not the entire network chilling out here. And there's train 6 going nice and fast straight down towards Birmingham. But it's going to take them a while to actually get there. Train 2, that's delivering, yes, people down towards Chattanooga while it's doing the cotton trade on the journey back. Because Chattanooga does need people. That's very, very good indeed. Right, so the trains are now on the move. There was a bit of temporary clogging right there. I think those 2 trains just phased straight through each other. But screw it happens sometimes. Okay, this is all going to be a bit on the expensive side, but I still think it's the right way to go. So get, yeah, this train running down over here, and then get you running down over here. That is another big bridge. That's another 24,000. Screw it, we can afford it. Okay, we now have a connection to Atlanta. We had to ask Atlanta very politely to shift itself 45 degrees to actually make the train make sense, but screw it, it worked. I was about to buy the best friend, but hang on, what's the upkeep on that? Because that's 111, 130. Honestly, this thing is feeling like it's kind of a better deal in some ways, but the best friend will do. Just for cotton delivery, that's fine. So we just want one best friend. Its only job is to go down over here, pick up some cotton, take it straight over to Atlanta, repeat. That's its only job. Money's under control here. The important thing is we're going to have a sexy fast train that's just going to basically go all the way down here, start delivering clothes down towards Atlanta. Just get that done. And am I willing to go into debt for that? Yes I am, because I'm a bit worried about time right now. So yeah, go into debt to buy a DeWitt Clinton, or whatever one of them is precisely. And your job is purely to, in Knoxville, pick up the clothes. Pick up as many clothes as you can, which is probably going to be a fair few. Actually, that's perfect. And you deliver them to City Hall for the contract. So you get that done. Lovely. Now, the return journey, however, what can you actually pick up? Because, ooh, there's post. By any chance, is there a post office there? There is a post office here. Oh, that's going to be worth so much money. That's going to be worth crazy money. Right, so on the journey back, I want you to pick up post. Not much post, but a bit of post, and then unload that in Knoxville. Oh, that's gonna be beautiful. Gonna be just sexy. Oh, I've just realised I've made a bit of a mistake here. Okay. Hang on. So, the clothes factory, we don't own that, and clothes cost $20,000 each. So, what we're gonna do right now is not do anything with this train until I've actually got enough money to buy the clothes and ship them down. And okay, this is the problem with the time limit right now. I've got a year and a half to deliver 10 clothes. Each set of clothes needs to be purchased for 20,000 and then delivered at no cost, though I can make some money back on the mail run. Okay, what we're going to do instead is not do that. What you're going to do is you're just going to pick up the mail and send that on its way, because that's going to be really lucrative. Now, hopefully we're not about to go bankrupt, because we might be about to go bankrupt. Luckily, this train is now going to go a great speed down towards Knoxville, 37,000. Okay, somebody please deliver something. Somebody please deliver something. Like, uh-oh. Who's currently buying or selling? Because I've got a horrible feeling that we might be about to lose because somebody's trying to buy something right now. Oh, 47,000. Somebody needs to sell something right now. Otherwise, the daily repayments are about to kill me. We're about to die to daily repayments. And... oh, no. No, somebody sell something. For the love of God, call up the bank and just beg them for just a day's grace. Okay, pretend you didn't see that. What we've got here is a more sensible system. Basically the same thing, but this time, the spur just goes straight down, so there's an express line between Atlanta and Knoxville itself. Though, admittedly, I might be about to fail again because I'm not sure whether the express line actually counts as an instant failure, because I agreed to take that mission. And also, okay, trains are just passing through each other, and please tell me that's optional. Is that optional? Good! That was just an optional failure. I still have a year to get on with the rest of the business. And yeah, about 400 days to deliver clothes. And I've delivered no clothes yet. But I have stockpiled a fairly decent amount of money by just running the post train between Knoxville and Atlanta. So, this John Bull, it goes over to Knoxville and it buys some clothing. 5 is fine for now, but it won't be fine in future, because at some point, yeah, the next trip I won't be able to afford that. So, just take a little bit in the way of clothes, and then, like, take some post at the same time, because post is great. And don't fill it right up to weight capacity, otherwise it's going to be slowed right down. I'll tell you what, 29 miles an hour, that is absolutely fine, and then get yourself healed up over there. So, you are now going to start doing that immediately. My new beloved Train 8, that has just spent a lot of money. And the rest of you just wait right there, because good old Train 4 is making a flipping killing. That, you know what? I think I've actually realised something. If I actually just got rid of one passenger, this train would travel at 4 times the speed. If this train were travelling at 4 times the speed, could we just toss someone out, by the way? Yeah, you just toss someone out by the wayside. This train goes so much faster, we're going to make loads more money. That's actually a trick I've been missing this whole time. Oh, and beautiful sidings are doing good work over here as well. Train 8, you are going to be the big damn hero that saves us. The clothes are... hang on, the clothes should have been delivered. Hang on, what happened to the clothes? Well, it says here 4 out of 10. It says here 0 out of 10. Okay? Game, are you feeling okay? Because I am delivering those clothes. And now Train 8 is the post train, and this is going to make crazy money right here. And, okay, oh, this is going to be a big payday right here. Train 4 comes in, now travelling at ludicrous speeds, and delivers, oh, that's like $25,000 right there. Comes in for repairs. In comes, oh, $7,500 go, because that post came a long way. In comes $13,000. In comes some more flipping post, because why the flip not? Everybody sets out on their way. So 4 have been delivered. 4 more are underway. You know what? Just for safety, I'm actually just going to get another train set up just to make sure more clothes are actually getting over there, because I'm a bit concerned this clock might run out before a John Bull has time to get down over there, unload, heal up, and then get back up to us. Yeah, I'm just going to get another train to just handle that. The train can then be repurposed as a post train because there's so much post that needs to be delivered. Right, there goes my new train, Train 9, currently delivering nothing but clothes down to Atlanta. So all the clothes that Atlanta needs should now be on the way. The game's still not acknowledging they're there, but they should be acknowledged down here at least. And that should be enough. That should be up to 8 and then 11. And then we have completed the mission. But yes, I'd like to think this game teaches us a very valuable moral lesson, which is do not go into debt. You will drown in interest payments. In comes the final train. It's arriving. And with that, we should, any minute, actually hopefully win because, oh, thank goodness. Right, so, yes, it turns out if you ignore the time it went horribly wrong, I am a genius at setting up a railroad. And this is why you want to do the option objectives, by the way. Because, yeah, it lets you actually just make savings going forward. So, yeah, track lane cost being down is nice. Upkeep of locomotives down is very, very nice indeed. You can get employee salaries down, though I'm not really sure how you hire people because I never ran into anyone to hire. But screw it, I'll just run the company by myself. And yeah, research being cheaper. But to my mind, yeah, getting the track cost down. That's probably a good idea. Oh, and in the next mission, things are getting even more complicated. Now you don't just have the option to buy businesses, you can also just buy empty land and then construct whatever you feel like on it. So now you can start inventing your own supply chains with your own farms, sawmills, refineries, steel mills, and up to complicated bits and pieces like, yeah, tool factories or weapon factories or whiskey refineries. So the complexity is just going to start growing because now if you're missing a crucial component, you can just buy land and produce it yourself. Gotcha. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I think you get the point. This here is Railroad Corporation, and it is delightfully evil. It is absolutely evil. It is very, very difficult indeed. It is so easy to accidentally get yourself bogged down in debt and have your business spiral into bankruptcy, which I approve of because that's probably fairly realistic and not enough games screw you over like that for not keeping a close eye on your cash flow. So yeah, there's a lot here I like, especially as I say, this is just fresh into early access, still work in progress, lots to be done on it. For a game in its very earliest stages, I am impressed. There's a lot of depth and complexity here. I suspect you will see this again, ladies and gentlemen. I will keep an eye on this one. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Railroad Corporation. Thank you very much, and goodbye. I've created a small problem in my road system, which is it's literally impossible for anyone to ever go back into town. And this building shall be where we produce our zebras. And this much taller building next door is naturally where we produce the giraffes. Does anyone remember how the road system went? I think it was something like this.